Well, we are live. Okay. Um, what is going on? I'm just doing some solo hunts on Monster Hunter, hanging out, talking about stuff. How do I close this? There we go. All right. Okay. Let's see if I can. I'm gonna go ahead and close this off just so that we can do some nice, easy hunts. I usually don't hunt solo, but I usually just jump in on random raids or let random, like I'll usually throw out a flare. I didn't realize that um, monsters have their HP, like that their hit points change if there are more players. It makes sense that they would go up. So, hey, Harv, what's up? Just hanging out, doing some monster hunts. Talking about how, like, I didn't realize that when you invite other people, the monster hit points go up. So, oof, I'm about to run out of. Oh no, God, somebody invited me to lunch and I forgot about it. Oh well, that's too bad. Anyway, doing some solo hunts because I figured that would be chill. Yeah. Let's do a custom meal while we're here. Let's do a caprice meal, and then I guess this is a good opportunity to do a sizzling meal because if there's one thing I hate is having to do cold drinks and hot drinks. It's very annoying. Um, for the majority of my playtime in story mode, I got like a hold of like one like adaptability gem or whatever they're called. And I was like, okay, I'm never gonna worry about this again. I don't care if like I am always gonna have this equipped. And then I got to the end game and I was like, oh, what's this? Builds. And yeah, some builds really don't allow for extra stuff. So here we are. Me having to take hot drinks, but at least if I have a sizzling meal, then I won't have to worry about it. So that's nice. Oh, what's happening? Okay. There we go. Oh, it was roaring. I haven't played since shortly after Arch Tempered Ray came out as my PC controller's R2 button bit it. Oh man, like my Switch controllers are inservable. Like only my Pro controller works anymore. So like I couldn't like play anything with my wife either. Like and I'm like, do I buy another Pro controller? The only Nintendo brand controller on the Switch that actually works? Should I just not bother? Should I just like be like, okay, well, this is a dead end. I don't have to worry about the Switch anymore. Because I'm not gonna rush out and buy a Switch 2, man. Like, I am so disappointed by the way that Nintendo handled um, the Joy-Con situation. Like, really just extremely annoyed at it. They like really lost my confidence. We spent a lot of money on Joy-Cons. We were like very excited. We were like those guys, my wife and me, we were like, hey, let's get like, even though there's only two of us, let's get like 3 or 4 pairs of Joy-Cons and then they can be all kinds of different colors. And we can like kind of decorate the Switch like that. And we did that, and without any, like, all of them, 100% of them eventually started drifting. And like, I am not a send this to Nintendo guy. Like, I'm not. I'm not going to the I'm not going to like the post office and shipping a controller to Japan or whatever. That's probably in the United States, but you know what I mean. I'm just not doing that. It's not gonna work. Okay, that's fine. Understandable. Pro controller can map to Steam. That's nice. Yeah, sorry. Like, usually on the stream, we do turn-based stuff most of the time, like Magic or Gems of War or whatever. But yeah, Monster Hunter unfortunately requires attention, so I end up having to not be able to read chat a lot, so hope that's okay. Hope nobody's too upset about it. I'm trying a build that is a longsword draw critical build. As you can see, I'm not doing a very good job of using it, but the idea is that you sheath, you kind of wait for the monster to commit to an action, and then if you built it right, then you're always gonna get, you have a 100% chance of getting a crit, and B, you are presumably dealing a bunch of damage. And yeah, if I do it here, this should let me do it here. Oh, unless I completely miss. Yeah. Okay. Freaking Gypseros. Here we go. Okay. Hit a strong point. That's not optimal. See, I'm very bad at this, is the problem. But the good thing about this build is that it's actually more forgiving. It, you know, if there is a longsword hit that I'm gonna get, it's probably that first one, and this makes that first one much stronger. So it means that even if I do this wrong, I'm still gonna largely be able to get some damage out of it, right? There's 212 damage just from a single swing. That's not too bad. Like, I am in no way optimized. This is not an Ardean weapon. This is a, yeah, see, so 236 damage. Chop the tail. It's not too bad. And this is just on that first hit. Oh, I'll get blowed up real good. I didn't get that. Alright, okay. Let's, oh. I gave my cat, see, 300 on one hit. It's not too bad. And then, assuming the monster doesn't snap out of it fast enough, we can get up to a good, solid, 400 on a true charge slash. It's not too bad. Definitely, like, this isn't, I don't think, yeah, this isn't even a tempered Ajarkhan. So, it's like, it's perfectly serviceable damage to do this hunt. I have strong armor, so even though I screw up all the time, I'm still, not dying. So, it's good times. If Greatsword can block the flash attack, so it should be able to block it. Even if it can't normally block it, it should be able to block it with guard up. But I think it can, just normally. I just never do it because I'm bad at it. Oh, yeah, Ajarkhan just went, like, over there. I was really expecting it to, like, full-on run away. Yeah, I don't know. I know that You can block like some, if not all, roars. Um, but actually, I guess that's with lance. With a lance, you can, with a lance and guard up, you can block literally anything. Although that stuff, I think, still counts as attacks. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Um, so I know that the bow can like dodge roars. I wonder if the bow can dodge the Gypsero's flash. That'd be interesting. Stream. Hey. I was trying. I gave myself a task of trying to make something out of the Rompompolo clothes. Um, and this is the best I could come up with. I don't think it's too bad. I haven't tried Great Sword since 4U, so I'm not familiar these days. How are you liking it? I like it a lot. I like Great Sword a lot. I started with Switch Axe, and now I realize that I never really used it correctly. Like, I was just, it's like when people say that like the story mode of Monster Hunter Wilds is like too easy or really easy, it is easy. Like I played that whole thing completely improperly without ever really learning what the switch axe was supposed to be doing, and it wasn't a problem. And when I got to the end game and I started looking into it, I was like, oh, this is actually really complex. And I tried to do it, and I can't. I just don't have the reflexes for it or the patience to practice, right? And that's what's always going to kill me in games like this, that I don't want to sit there and practice against a monster. And I don't want to sit there, just like in fighting games, I don't want to practice Shoryukens like over and over and over again. So when I get into it and I'm playing a fighting game and I screw up the input for a Shoryuken, let me see if I can still, somebody still wants to take me out to lunch. Oh, nice. Okay. That's good. I was worried that I was going to miss lunch. But yeah, um, so that has placed me squarely as a Lance main because there are, like, the Lance does have reactions, but they're not necessarily core to the gameplay. Whereas, like, the only way that Switch Axe can defend is by um, countering and offsets. Like it's and dodge rolling, right? It's the only way that it can defend. Um, so Great Axe, or sorry, so Lance, you can always block, and again, you can do perfect blocks, and that's fine. And sometimes I get perfect blocks, but most of the time I don't. But because you can block literally everything if you have like a single point of guard up, then that makes things a lot easier for me. Like I'm okay with like not very sexy gameplay, right? Like Lance just kind of sits there and like poke, 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 shield up, poke, 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 poke. Perfectly fine with that. It doesn't bother me. Um, and yeah, so I've tried that. Um, I've tried bow. Bow is fun. It also requires you to like respond to the monsters, but it's very forgiving. Like if you, especially if you slot stuff for that, the bow dodge is like extremely forgiving. So I feel like I can play the bow, like maybe in the morning when I'm feeling a little bit more like peppy about it. Um, but let me stash my stuff. Yeah, I like Greatsword because it can also block, which is nice. It can dodge roll, and it deals a lot of damage. And the gameplay is very straightforward, right? Like right now, I'm trying like an off version of Greatsword, and I like it a lot for the reasons that I said before. It's like again, because even if you just throw out that first hit without charging it, it's like plenty of damage. It's like more damage than the second hit, which is not how it usually goes. So I am enjoying that. I also enjoy like the normal version of playing. I'm just like trying to land that true charge smash. Oh, apparently I have enough bones now, so I don't need to keep hunting that monkey. Let's go after the Narcilla. What puts me in the same floor as it? Okay, we'll try that. Lagna says, I'm not going to miss lunch. I'm having blood pudding for lunch, and I'm not missing that. Okay. It's pretty much what they call black pudding in England, but with a more honest name. Of course, it got announced in the MSP Discord, so I'm not sure we can keep this all that secret. Oh, yeah. Well, it's still kind of a secret. You know, like if you're familiar with secret shows, right? Like a band will play a concert and it's just like a small concert and they don't advertise it. So the closest thing to advertisement that we get is the Major Spoilers Discord, so that's nice. So we charge up, hit him on the first hit, and then we run. Try to get behind the spider. Oh, sorry, arachnophobia warning. What? Guys, there's some sort of cat here. Can you hear her? There's an animal somewhere in this room. Yeah, what I like about Monster Hunter is that, like, definitely there's some, like, very challenging monsters. But I like that the monsters are actually all pretty slow. Why is that blue stuff there? Shouldn't I have defense against that? Oh, I'm so angry. Hang on a second. I hate having to do hot drinks and cold drinks. Did I run out of that stuff? Is that not what piping hot meal does? I don't know. Maybe I'll try to find a spot for an adaptability gem in this build, because I really hate having to deal with that. Yeah, the cat left. She was tired of me not paying attention. Ugh. That did not hit me. These hitboxes are ridiculous. Yeah, I really actually don't like fighting Narcilla. I don't know why I decided to do that. Yep, just like constant. Definitely not a great monster to fight solo. Even if you're like me and you've got like every type of heal item on you, it's still a pain in the butt. Yeah. Okay, alright. Let's take a moment here and... Hey, that's what you get. The nice thing about bringing the cat is that the cat heals you. I don't know why sometimes there's like a second burst of damage. I don't know if like some things can be hit twice or something. Is Rogue here somewhere? Sometimes there's like a little guy hanging from the ceiling. Lagnus says, what I like about Monster Hunter is the eating before going on a hunt. Unsure if that's part of the game, but it's my main takeaway from Monster Hunter World. It absolutely is a big part of the game. So, you're right. That is cool. Monster Hunter has like... I don't know. It's like a really cool game. It's like a really cool series because, yeah, I know you don't like it, but you gotta say hi to the people. Hi, it's Lily. Lily's very old and very cranky. She's a cranky baby. Okay. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I have really gotten into this game. Clearly because I'm like, if you can even call me an influencer, I'm the only influencer still playing it after a month, right? Everybody else has moved on to like Expedition 33 or whatever, and I'm still like, I want to be playing Monster Hunter. But I have really fallen in love with the franchise. The fact that, like, I didn't know anything about it going in, but the fact that the monster hunters are like conservationists rather than like really hunters necessarily, or that like the monsters aren't just like evil monsters that want to destroy you. They're just big animals, and like real life conservationists, sometimes the monster hunters have to kill them. Like that idea breaks down obviously in the late game. Like, just the late game's not canon, right? You just have to treat it like way, just like with Pokemon. It's like me breeding 10,000 million bats until I can get a shiny one, and then releasing all of those bats back into the wilderness would be horrifying to the ecosystem, right? So that stuff's not canon, right? Just like the story stuff is canon. So I like that, yeah. Monster Hunter has this. Is there another Nursilla? God, I hate these spiders. Why did I hunt the spider? Okay, let me get some poop. Let me hit my spider with poop. There we go. I guess I got both of them, but that's okay. As long as they go different places, it's fine. Lightning says, I have a small bed for my dog by my hobby desk, so he sleeps by my feet when I hobby, and every now and then he'll demand to be picked up so he can stare out into the window. That way I'm not locked to the couch. Yeah, so my dog right now does not like to do that. He is very spoiled, and if I, like, he wants to cuddle on the couch. That's what he wants to do. And if I don't do that, he comes over and he paws at me. Like, my bed is right over here by my desk. So, he'll stand on the bed and put his feet on, like, my chair handle. And he'll just sit there looking sad and, like, pawing at it. And I have to go out, I have to go over there and sit on the couch and snuggle. Which is rough, since right now the closest thing I have to to the current gen console is my computer, right? So either I'm playing something on the Switch, which if you weren't here earlier, I'm angry at because all of my controllers have died. Or I have to play something on like the PS4, which, like, whatever, I have some cool PS4 games, but I want to play this Monster Hunter game right now. And this does not play on the PS4. Are you kidding? So, yeah. Right now, my dog is asleep. I went over there and I snuggled with him for 20 minutes. Probably more. Probably like an hour. Snuggle and watch TV. And then now... Is that even the right Nursilla? Did I follow the wrong one? I hate these spiders. Why am I hunting this spider? It's just the worst. You're the worst, spider. No, don't go down. Oh, I kind of hit it. That's cool. Ooh, am I going to get to... Nope. There's a quote for this channel. Am I going to get to... Nope. Anyway, the dog's a puppy. I'm probably, like, I could train it to not do that. I tried setting up something over here for him to sit in, and he doesn't want it. He wants snuggle times. And also, he's picky about snuggle times because, again, my bed is back there. So what I'll do is I'll just sit on the bed where we can snuggle, and um, I'll be like, okay, let's come snuggle, and I can play video games while we snuggle. And he doesn't want to. He wants to snuggle on the couch. And I'm like, dude, come on. Like, I don't see you buying me a PS4 to play on the couch, so you don't get to say. What I need is some way of having him just like sit here on my lap. But he's like, it's like the size. He's like the size of a corgi, so it's like actually too big to just sit on my lap. What are you gonna do? Let me scroll up here. Harvester says very abstracted. Yeah, Pokemon is not ready to grapple with breeders foobarring the ecosystem for real. Yeah, definitely. I heard that since what, Gen 6 Pokemon's team has come out and said there are no animals in the world, they're canonically all Pokemon now, which to me is a strange decision that poses a lot of uncomfortable questions. I'm okay with it, honestly. Like, that's fine. There are only, like, basically what they're saying is there are no normal animals, there are only magical animals. And yes, that creates a lot of questions that clearly they didn't think of ahead of time, right? Like, how is Pikachu the electric mouse Pokemon? What the hell is a mouse, right? I'm okay with that. Like, that doesn't bother me too much. It would be great if they went through and adjusted all of that stuff. That would be fine. But it's a lot of work because there are 9,000 Pokemon. Um, I am okay with people eating Pokemon. Like, canonically, Pokemon prey on each other. So I'm okay with people catching Magikarps and eating them because that is something that we do with fish, and that's okay. So I'm okay with it. Let's see. Lagna says, aren't you hunting spiders for clicks and likes? I shouldn't, because also people are arachnophobic. So this is like backwards. I should not be doing this. Lagna says, at the cabin I go to pre-bed in the recliner so he can sleep on my legs. Yeah, this pup knows what he wants. Yeah, totally. I have a Jack Russell. After work he likes to crawl into my beard. That's cute. Yeah, I used to have a Jack Russell. I guess it was a Parson Russell / Rat Terrier mix. Pavlov. You guys remember Pavlov. He was a good dog. Terriers are fun. Harvester says, the part regarding Pokemon that gets wild to me is that every animal food product comes from a semi-sapient creature. That is weird. The fact that Pokemon are actually also intelligent, right? Like they all have basically human intelligence to a certain degree, except for maybe the very dumb ones. And even the dumb ones are dumb with human intelligence. You just have to think, is the thing that prevents me from eating certain animals the fact that that they're intelligent? Because I have bad news for you. Like, pigs are really smart. Like, pigs are as smart as dogs, right? And so are, like, octopuses are really smart, and I definitely eat those. So, like, if you're gonna grapple with, do I eat something intelligent? Unfortunately, you have to grapple with that in real life as well. Because, yeah, some animals that we eat are actually really smart. Lagna says, we don't have the homeless dog / dog shelters you have, so purebred dogs are the common thing here. Okay. Hardest says, you're right. Yeah. It's an ethical question. I really don't begrudge anybody being like a vegetarian or a vegan. I used to be really annoyed at vegans, not because of their decisions, but because I had never met a vegan who wasn't stuffed up. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of hoity-toity. But now I have. I've met plenty of vegans that are cool. So I'm like, cool. Just be a vegan, it's fine. Like, if you don't want to eat animals, that's perfectly fine. I also don't get in the faces of people who eat animals because that's like the normal state of things, like humans eat animals, and I think that's okay. Obviously, that opens up a whole debate about factory farming, ethical treatment of the animals we eat, and so on and so forth. And those are all conversations worth having. I'm not like, no, carnivore, blah, 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 blah. Like, no. Um, those are all conversations worth having. Harv says, what is then logistically freaky is that people are hunting Pokemon who can defend themselves with elemental breath and cosmic powers. Yes. It kind of explains it's kind of a self-explanatory thing about why Pokemon are also so integrated into that world. Um, that seems close. Right? Like Pokemon are very integrated into the Pokemon world. And so it's like cops have police dog Pokemon and construction workers use Pokemon to construct things and it's like yeah, these guys can like do things like change the weather and stuff like that. So like yeah, it makes sense that if people can control Pokemon that they would because Pokemon are very powerful. And I would imagine because Pokemon are so intelligent and generally speaking like very nice to their trainers, like they're canonically written to be like, I got caught by a trainer. This person is now my friend. Even though I didn't have a say in beginning this relationship, but I guess that's true of us and animals too. Um, it's like my dog didn't ask me to take him out of the shelter. But anyway, yeah, it makes a lot of sense that Pokemon or that people want to use Pokemon. What has never made a lot of sense to me is that, for example, you're like, do I not have something to deal with this? Oh, okay. I guess I did. What has not always made a lot of sense to me is like, specifically Team Rocket that's like, oh, we're gonna steal Pokemon. And it's like, why? They're like, Pokemon are so numerous, right? It's like, do you wanna, like, if they were like after like legendary Pokemon, and later on I think they specifically go after like, they wanna catch Ash's Pikachu for like a lot of the series. And I was like, okay, that Pikachu, it's like a Pikachu with all its IVs and EVs at absolute max. Or like, really Ash's Pikachu is like a hacked Pikachu. Like, it's too powerful to be a Pikachu. Like, just way too powerful. Right? Like, Pikachu's stats are actually super garbage. So, like, it makes sense that Team Rocket is like, wait a minute. That Pikachu stats are not super garbage. We should catch it and use it to rob banks or something. I don't know. The other groups in Pokemon make a little bit more sense. In that they are like mwahaha, like evil nonsense. Of course, you guys remember my playthrough of Sword and Shield, where the bad guy is like, it makes sense that the bad guy is a millionaire industrialist, but it doesn't make sense that what he wants to do is bring about the apocalypse so that they can, I don't even remember, it's like so that people can have like renewable energy later after the apocalypse. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. Fun game though. Good fashion options. Dang it, I'm trying to kill your dad. The thing with like monsters fighting each other is that yes, the monsters will fight each other and then you can what is happening? Did I have the wrong Have I been fighting the wrong Rumpompolo? Oh my god. I just came across a Rumpompolo and I was like, okay, I'll fight this. And that was the wrong one. I can't believe I've been fighting the wrong monster this whole time. Well, here's a brand new fresh Rumpompolo for me to fight. Good times. Freaking gah. Guys, this is not me at my best playing this game. Usually, well, mechanically I'm still not ever very good, but usually at least I can tell which monster I'm supposed to be hunting. Is that, like, I'm just, like, so, I just want to triple check. Yep. Rodrigo fights the wrong monster. Wanted to summon Eternatus to harness its energy so that 1,000 years down the line, no energy crisis. Yeah, it was like something crazy like that. Yeah, I've definitely done something like this before. I know that I've like been on like other people's hunts, and then I'm like, haha, here's the thing we're hunting. And then it's like, why is nobody else here? Like, there's supposed to be 4 players here. And I'll look on the map, and it's like, oh, I'm fighting the wrong one. Like, and I don't even mean, like, those things where you can fight 2 monsters at once, and I'm fighting the wrong monster who is also part of this hunt. I'm saying I'm just hunting the wrong monster, period. Give me that wound. There we go. Bonk and bonk. I like when his head is floppy. He looks like Shredder Dino. Yeah, I like the Rumpompolo. It's like this. So, again, this is my first Monster Hunter. But I think that in this game specifically, they were trying to go for, like, extra unusual designs. Like, just because I've been looking for Monster Hunter Wild stuff, my feed has a lot of, like, previous Monster Hunter stuff now. And so, I think that a lot of the ways, like, still just extremely creative, cool stuff, but they were really hung up on that, like, dinosaur body plan, which the Rumpompolo has. But, like, yeah, you see so many monsters, and it's like, they're all, like, kind of flying wyverns or something similar. And in this one, they're like, let's add octopuses, let's put a couple more arthropods in the mix. Like, again, I know that they've had lots of really creative stuff, but I really felt that, like, with this one, they're like, let's set the flying wyverns outside. Let's bring in Ray Dow, who is, like, an incredible design for a flying wyvern, and let's put the wyverns aside for now. And that's why at the end of the game, you get a Yankutku, Gypceros, and the big armored one whose name I'm forgetting. And of course Rathalos and Raytheon, right? So it's like, clearly the game is like, okay, here are all the flying wyverns that you didn't get to fight during the main game. Obviously people love them and everything, but this was kind of the game of, like, trying out other body plans while still, you know, having, like, probably 2 of the most badass flying wyverns ever in Ray Dow and Artfeld. So, I don't know. If you guys play Monster Hunter and you think that I'm just totally wrong about this, let me know. That's kind of how I feel. Let's see. Whilst has made me more likely to mistake them, yeah. The cephalopod category is cool as hell. Welcome innovation, and I really hope they expand on it. Yeah. It'll be, like, you know, they have that skeleton now, right? And that's a thing. Right. Again, I'm in the Monster Hunter fandom now, so I talk about things like skeletons. Um, yeah, they've created that cephalopod skeleton. So between Shei Wu and New Udra, right, is like that uses it, but definitely there's room for more. And I know that they're going to keep adding monsters, and that they're probably going to do. I don't know that they've like this isn't official or anything, but I'm sure they're going to do some sort of big secondary expansion, right? The last one, like the last couple games have had like this thing where they basically do a big DLC expansion. So I would be surprised if that one doesn't have a bunch of octopoids in it. And there's lots of things that they can do with it, right? It's like you can see that they do a lot. They do a lot with that wyvern skeleton. They do a lot with that like monkey skeleton. I'm actually not sure if the Chatacabra. I'm guessing the Chatacabra also has a monkey skeleton, like Jarakan and Kongalala and Blangonga, even though it's supposed to be a brute wyvern or wyvern. I always say wyvern because I learned the word watching gargoyles, and that's how they said it. But I'm pretty sure everybody else says wyvern. And I've looked it up, and sometimes the dictionary says you can say it either way, but I find that most people say wyvern, so I've had to like get used to saying it, but wyvern still comes up every once in a while. That's a great way to end a hunt. You're most welcome, and thanks. Iceborne Sunbreak Wilds is almost certainly going to expand, yeah. Cetacarva revived an older skeleton from 4U. Oh, okay. Gargoyles is canon, yeah. I agree. Ooh, I got a gem. Yay. Stolen. Yeah, so my cat is my Palico is named Spooky Mel. Because he's a little spooky guy. And my secret is called Grill Marks, because he used to be pink with black stripes, so he had grill marks. Now, because I've been playing for so long and I'm always want to change the color of stuff, now he's black with pink grill marks. But it didn't feel right for me to just like completely change his color and still call him grill marks. I thought about saying like, oh, maybe I got a new secret later and I can change his colors and his name, but I kind of wanted to. I've thought about like changing the hunter's name, for example. Like you get it like a ticket that allows you to do that, but you only get one. So I was like, well, maybe I'll like change it to something that's more like my name, or so that it can be recognized, that kind of a thing. But I'm like, nah, I played with this character. I like this character that I made. I want to keep doing it, and I like Spooky Mel, and I like Grill Marks, and that's my team. Let's change our equipment appearance. Yeah, so this is my trying to make it work Rompompolo costume, right? Trying to make that top chest Rompompolo piece work. I think it largely does. It's not perfect, but that is a really ugly piece where you also can't change all the colors. Like the only thing that you can really change is that top, the part that's like light blue on it right now. That's the only part that you can really change. Let's do white heavy. This one turned out pretty good. It's like makes my character look like an action figure. Let's see. Harvester says there was the Tetsukabra, a big red toad with tusks, digs up impossibly huge boulders as a shield and then chomps explosion. That's cool. Tetsu had such sick weapon designs. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to more monsters just because the monsters are cool, the weapons are cool. Um, Always be on branding. Yep, that's me. Always never maintaining any sort of solid brand. You're right. Um, Harsh says, I don't know that I would recommend you go as far back as For You when starting with Wilds, as the quality of life loss will be jarring. There are so many careers I think you'd love there. Kechawacha as a Dr. Susan monkey elephant is such a lad. I'm not going to. In general, like something very strange has to happen for me to be like, I want to go back and play an old game. Like, I do not go back and play old games specifically for that reason. Like, now that I've played this game, I know that if I go play any other Monster Hunter game, and a monster like slaps me gently, and I'm like, please, Sacred, come save me, and a Velociraptor doesn't come and save me, I'm gonna be like, what the hell? What the hell is this dumb stuff? Right? So, I am very much like a quality of life features boy. I really, if you take quality of life features away from me, I cry. So I know that this game, I like it's amazing. So I make a lot of comparisons between Monster Hunter and Pokemon, and I think they are very similar in a lot of ways. And one of the ways in which they are similar is that they're extremely idiosyncratic franchises. And one of the ways in which they're idiosyncratic is that things that are general advancements in video games make it to these franchises very slowly, right? Like, um, in like Legends Arceus, being able to like physically throw Pokeballs and having the monsters in the overworld and stuff. I don't know if Arceus was the first one. Maybe Let's Go Pikachu was the first one of the main games to do that. And people were like, oh my god, I can't believe it. I can't believe this gameplay. And it's like basic stuff that video games have been doing for a decade or more, right? And it's like, I know when I first jumped onto Wilds, I was hearing stuff from like previous Monster Hunter players, and it's like, focus mode. I don't know how I feel about it. And I'm like, what is focus mode? And it's like, focus mode is when you press the left trigger and you can control which way your character's facing. Like, pressing the left trigger to control which way your character's facing has been around since like the PS1 days. Like, this is a new thing for Monster Hunter, and everybody's like, I don't know about this. And it's like, this is a basic thing that every game has. It's good. You should just roll with it. Focus mode. Other games don't even have a name for it. Like, it's been around forever, right? And it's like, I get it. I get that, like, being able to, like, aim your greatsword attack once you've started taking the swing maybe does reduce the difficulty. And maybe you don't like that. That's fair. But, yeah. Figuring out which way your character's facing in a fully 3D game, yeah, that's normal. Games have been doing that for a long time. This is not an advancement. It's not a feature. It's a normal thing that this game probably should have had for a while. Oh, I do love that Gypsy skirt though. I have some sweet fits with it. I do like that. Yeah, that big. I don't know. You guys, like, some of you guys are European. That, like, the Gypsy skirt really gives some country in Europe, but I don't know which one. Let me show it to you guys again. Yeah, this big skirt, right? What does this say to you? Nope, pointing in the right direction. What does this big skirt say to you? Like, to me, it says like some sort of milkmaid or some sort of like, but also maybe some sort of like military women's uniform. So if you're European, let me know what European country this is, and feel free to get into a fight with other Europeans over it. Let's see. Rice would have a decent transfer, I think, but yeah, further back, and it's such a paradigm shift. I hope more For You mons come in title updates and potential expansion, especially given how much of a love letter to this game is to 4 already. Okay. Harvester says, high-waisted skirt with folds is slick. And yeah, I want to say Holland vibes, especially in the default white. Yeah. Okay, well, I wanted to change out of this costume. I just wanted to show people again. Nope, that's not it. There you go. How's my food? It's fine. Let's see what else. That's all fine. If you see me transferring my things over and over again, I just like that's just something I've fallen into doing. I'm not like it's kind of like saving the game. It sucks when you get out there and you're like, I'm gonna trap this monster, and you reach back and you realize that you used you used all your traps in the last couple of hunts and you haven't refreshed your supplies, and now you're screwed and you have to, fight the monster until it's dead. F you, Nerzilla. I am not fighting that thing. I am not fighting a Tempered Raytheon either. I'm sorry. I'm just not up for it. Hey, let's see. Let's see if I can block that. We'll do the test right now. We'll see if we can block the flash for the Gypsaros. Lagna says, yeah, Holland vibes around here. Milkmaid uniforms look a little different. That looks more like a maid in a household than when working outside on a farm. Okay. Oh, actually, Rodrigo, you might be positioned to enjoy the Monster Hunter Stories titles. Pokemon-like take on Monhun, more stylized art closer to Wind Waker, and turn-based battles. You steal eggs and raise the babies to fight with you. I have seen that. Actually, what is it called? Stories? Yeah. I had kind of started seeing it, and I read what I felt was a very powerful comment. I don't remember who said it. Maybe it was one of you guys. But that Nata from this game is like a Monster Hunter Stories character that accidentally got like transported into the main line, and that's why his life is so horrible. I thought that was really funny because it's like, yeah, clearly Nata is soft, and he's made to be friends with monsters and train them rather than having to have his entire life destroyed by them. Oh, no, 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 no! See, the problem with this stipulation is that I actually have to not be locked into an attack when it hits the thing, which seems unlikely. I know that it doesn't work that way, but my immediate thing to being poisoned is to start rolling. Because I'm like, this works when I'm on fire. Okay, block, block, block. It worked! You can block the flash. Oh, you are screwed now, chicken. Stupid gypsum chicken. I would love to see a Stories 3 that followed Nata's trajectory, yeah. Poor Nata. Life is tough for little Nata. Yeah, you guys have probably seen my stuff online where I'm, like, defending Nata. Because, like, people seem to really hate him for dumb reasons. Like, first off, I'm half convinced that a lot of it is racism, just because he's, like, a dark-skinned boy. But I think some people, like, I think some gamers hate Nata because they're like, oh, I hate little kid characters. And it's like, why? Because they're like, you have to do, like, escort missions and stuff, but, like, you never had to do that with Nata. So, like, that's, like, immediately for me. Ooh, jellyfish. No flying jellyfish. I've caught all of these, so I don't need to. Like, for me, that's, like, immediately, like, I've gotten really into this game. Like, to the point where, like, I'm at work, and at work, I have a fair amount of downtime. So I'm like, I'm gonna look up Twitch streamers that are playing Monster Hunter right now, because I need to get my fix. And I have problems with addictive stuff. So now it's like a thing that I do. I was looking at the streamer, I was having fun watching them, I was interacting and stuff, and they were playing through like the post-game story. And the first thing they do is they start a post-game story mission, and they just start skipping through the dialogue. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? How are you gonna know the rich history of the blight or whatever it's called, like the frenzy virus, right? This is important, right? And it's like they hadn't played the game before. They weren't like, oh, this is my second playthrough or whatever. Like, this was like a legit, your standard streamer who is like experiencing everything for the first time. They're skipping the story, and as they're skipping the story, it cuts through the different characters that are doing the dialogue. So it cuts to Nata, who actually has something relevant to say because he's like, Nata is a local, and he's our point of view character, so he asks relevant questions for people like me that haven't played the games before, right? And second, because he's a local, he knows what's going on, definitely in like the Sild area where this is all happening, like Sild Suja kind of area. And first off, yeah, they skip they skip the story, and then as they're skipping through, Nata comes up, and they're like, ugh, I hate Nata, he's so annoying. I don't even know what his deal is. And it's like, of course you don't know what his deal is. You skip the story. Like, if you skip the story, you won't know what anybody's deal is. Like, one of the replies that I got when I was doing my little YouTube Shorts / TikTok thing about Nata is like, somebody was like, it's ridiculous that Nata would want to help this monster. Like, Monster Hunter is about like fighting off these monsters that oppress humanity and try to murder us. It's like, nobody would want to preserve these monsters. And I was like, what game did you play? That is not like, I don't know if other Monster Hunter games are like that, but Wilds certainly isn't like that. That is not Monster Hunter Wilds. That is not what happens in this game. Uh-oh, this chicken's trying to trick me. I see you, chicken. Hang on. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna kick it. You didn't get me, chicken. I'm finally wise to your antics. Okay. Anyway, yeah, it's like, what the heck, man? It's like, yeah, of course, people are like, no, the monsters are evil. It's like, what? If they skip the story, don't skip the story. Why are you even playing this game for? I guess there's lots of reason to play games. And like, I guess it's okay if people don't care about the story. But the story is so minimal in Monster Hunter. Like, it really is. There's like almost nothing. And it's like, partially I think it's kind of the fault of Monster Hunter as a game. Because if you're an experienced Monster Hunter player, you know that, quote-unquote, the real game happens after the story, right? All of this other stuff opens up. New monsters, new hunts, kind of a few new ways to play, new missions and stuff. So it's like, I get it. You want to rush to the end so you can play the real Monster Hunter. But, like, the storyline is fun. Like, I talked about this when I was talking about Smash. Part of the reason why Smash is so rad is because, and the story modes of Smash can be so rad, is because you get to see these characters interacting with each other. Like these characters are so freaking rad. Like, Olivia is rad. What's the little guy's name? Eric. Eric is rad. Alma is rad. Gemma is rad. Even Werner gets his moments. Like, Athos is rad. You get to talk to Athos. You get to talk to this, like, little badass barbarian cat. I'm like, why are you skipping this? This is amazing. Anyway. Let me see what you guys are saying. I got too busy being angry at that chicken. Let's see. Storage 1 let me do something I wanted Pokemon to do forever, actually ride across the map on your critters, and sort of like Sun and Moon call Pokies. Your monsters have HM-like abilities built in. That's cool. People often rag on Nada for him being a kid because of poor media literacy, and yeah, racism for sure. Lagna says, I hated the helper in Monster Hunter Wilds. I was doing my best, or this might be World, best to let her die because she messed up everything and always fell right in front of some monster. But alas, she survived. Harja says, you slot right into the fandom, Rodrigo. Okay, that's good. Um, Lagnus says, streamer, skips the story. Rodrigo, building a monster out of mashed potatoes. This is important. That's me. Yeah, I'm like, but, how do you know how the monster fits into the larger? No, you don't care? All right, okay. Harvester says, I haven't touched this in over a year, but when I was digging into Lancer, I started brainstorming homebrew frames and a whole manufacturer based on MH monsters, like more bestial than the D&D guys of Horus. Yeah, that sounds rad. This means something, yeah. Wilds has put the most care into its story, and that story's presentation. It's gorgeous, and it's all it's all like motion capture and high end animation, right? You guys remember like the last things from like Bethesda and BioWare? I guess probably not the latest thing from BioWare because that's the newest Dragon Age, and I think that one has a little bit more care placed to things. But like, you guys remember Mass Effect Andromeda with like the character just being like brr, 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 and then like another version of the character like melding into them and walking through, and then like yeah, anything Bethesda puts out, which is like talking to mannequins, like the story in Monster Hunter Wilds is so gorgeously acted and put together, and like clearly such care and love has been put into it. It's like really impressive. Again, super short, and I wouldn't necessarily want it to be longer, but just so good. Like so good at every level. Hers says people writing off its narrative because it's a Monster Hunter game without engaging at all. Yeah. It's like, congratulations, dorks, you missed it, right? You missed a great opportunity to engage with this game. And once even if you've played all the way through and you're like, oh no, what have I done? And you go back and replay it, it's not going to feel the same because you already know the beats. You already know what monsters are coming and everything. So, Harvester says, what's rough is the people saying the story is bad when they have intentionally ignored it. Yeah, so like one of the things that people say is, um, like, it happens too fast. Like, again, I'm sitting there defending Nata, and I'm like, Nata goes through an actual character arc. Nata is the main character of this game. The hunter is the player character, but the main character is Nata, right? And people are like, they're like, no, it doesn't feel right. Like, it happens too fast. And I'm like, it happens too fast because you're rushing through the game, right? If you finish a mission and then you go to the optional missions and you hunt that monster again, and then you do some like fishing, and then you do some missions here and there, and you go and you're like, oh no, I'm low on supplies. I need to like get on my sacred and go gather herbs and mushrooms and stuff. And then you're like, okay, I'm ready for the next thing. I'm gonna go to the next thing. It's like a day has passed, right? A day or two, you've like your brain has sat there and stewed on the happenings, and then you get to a new thing and it's like, oh, the characters are moving through their emotion, like through their emotional journey, right? It's like if you're just rushing through, of course it feels like it happens too fast. Like if you get through half the story in one day, it's gonna feel too fast. It's part of the argument to read like the floppies, right? Comic books in individual issues rather than reading them in trades, because that way you get like a month to sit there and like let it stew. And I do get that, but I do like trades better. Like reading a trade doesn't take away the story. You're right, it doesn't give you that stewing time. You have to add it yourself, right? You have to like be like, I want to think critically about this comic. Let me read it and really look at the art. Like read through it, go back, look at the art again. Like okay, all right, I see what they're saying here. I see what they're trying to do. I see why the Flash has to do that. right? Harvest says, I feel your frustration, thank you. And glad to see the chicken flash test was successful. Yeah, you can block the chicken flash. Tell your friends you can block the Gypceros chicken flash. I saw somebody criticize the... They're like rating the monsters in wilds, and they're like... They like played down the Yen Kutku because they're like, we already have a chicken and the Chemitress does it like really well. And I think there's room for multiple chickens in wilds. Chickens are a basic human thing. In fact, going back to talking about animals we eat and farm animals, there kind of aren't enough ungulates. I think that's something that in wilds, that's something that they need to do. I know that the like ceradons or whatever, like those herbivores, definitely fill that role. And there's like the wildebeests that are like little velociraptor wildebeests, but none of those are like monsters you hunt. So I'd like to see another ungulate. I think that would be fun. Lagna says, well, time for lunch. Kids have fun. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. They are very different chickens. Yeah, there's room for that. We could really use more fanged beasts. Yeah. And that's the other thing is, okay, the classifications in Monster Hunter are terrible. But I kind of dig that because, like, real classifications are kind of terrible because when people are discovering new things, they don't know what they don't know, right? It's like, oh, we just discovered this new bat that is really small and has a really effed up nose. So we're calling it the tiny effed up nose bat, right? And then 10 years later, they go deeper into the jungle and they're like, we discovered an even smaller bat with a more effed up nose. But we already have the tiny effed up nose bat. So this one we have to call something else, probably something else entirely, and will forever prompt that thing, right? Where somebody is like, if this bat is smaller and has a more effed up nose, why didn't they call this one the small effed up nose bat? And it's because they didn't discover it first. So I feel like the classifications in Monster Hunter are like that. It's like, what is this? A wyvern. It's like, okay, well, what is this thing? It's like, that's a bird wyvern. Right? And it's like, what's the difference? It's like, good luck figuring it out. There really isn't a lot of morphological differences out on the outside between wyverns and bird wyverns. Once you get into brood wyverns, I was like, sure. Fanged beast encompassing the entirety of mammals, basically, is kind of an issue. Like, humans don't care about bugs that much, so all bugs being, what, temnoncerans or whatever, that's fine. It's like in Magic the Gathering where you just have, like, insects, and it's like, this is a worm. Insect. Actually, worm is a creature type, but you know what I mean. Harsh says, they really do some heavy lifting, yeah. Wilds doesn't even have Elder Dragons yet. Correct, yeah. I haven't, this being my first Monster Hunter, I haven't fought an Elder Dragon yet. Rice has an effed up nose bad beast, actually, who stands up on its club tail and throws fruit at you. Oh, nice. I know that there's a wyvern that's kind of like a little, like, furry white bat, too. I would love to see that. I would like to see that in Wilds, unless I don't, because I don't know what it does. Maybe it's really annoying. As you may have figured out, I don't like monsters that throw effects at me. Although, it's not that I hate them that much. It's just particularly bad in solo hunts where it's like, oh, I didn't hit something fast enough. So now I have to lay here, wasting time. You know, maybe my cat is still poking at it, but it's just annoying. Playing with randos, if I get poisoned, is not a big deal. Getting, like, frozen is not a big deal because, you know, other people are still doing something. And it gives me an opportunity to actually pay attention to what other people are doing, which is kind of fun in and of itself. Now that I've played other weapons, now that I've played Insect Glaive, for example, I'm like, oh, that's what that guy was doing. Insect Glaive gets a bad rap. I'm going to tell you this right now. Just one second. There is a fun, healthy back and forth between weapon users in Monster Hunter. And in Wilds, the thing that I think the insect glaive gets a lot is like actually you do more damage on the ground, so you don't need to fly around that much. But the problem is that to do all that damage, you need those extracts, and the easiest way to get the extracts is to fly around. Because even sending your bug through a monster, the monster's moving or whatever, it's a lot easier to just like dash forward and try and get an extract. At least from my very limited playing of it. Um, so yeah, insect glaive players, you go ahead and fly around. Once you have those extracts, try to make yourself useful. But before that, go get those extracts. Let's see. Harvester says, yeah, flying versus bird wyverns. I find the line is dubious. Yeah, I was really mad early on in the post game because I'm going over to Gemma and I'm like, hey, I want to make this, and it's like, you need a bird wyvern gem, and I'm like, okay, here's a Chemetris that has a gem, so I'm gonna go hunt that. So I go hunt it, and then I look at the gem, and it's not a bird wyvern gem, it's just a regular wyvern gem. And as it turns out, Chemetris is not a bird wyvern, even though it's based on a chicken. So that's my own fault. I should have known better than to assume from this like very weird hodgepodge of a game. Um, but yeah, I was annoyed by that, and I do find that the line is pretty thin between a bird wyvern and a flying wyvern. The other stuff makes a little bit more sense. Flying has the raptor-like guys, which are lacking in wilds, I think. Yeah, because the only bird wyverns in wilds right now are the Gypceros and the Yenkutku, and they are not... Like, the Yenkutku is bird enough, like, it does kind of act like a bird, but the Gypceros kind of doesn't. Like, if you, like, it's hard to be like, this is, like, if you only look at, like, a Gypceros and, like, a Rathalos, is like one of this is a bird wyvern. I guess the Gypceros has a beak, but actually so does the Rathalos. So I don't know. Paolumu is from World Fuzzy White Bat Wyvern who inflates its throat sac and does wind attacks. That sounds fun. It's fun to see how monster attacks map to your weapon attacks. Yeah. The classification. Yeah. Monster theming is not always intuitive to classification. Yeah, Gypceros is a very rude chicken. Well, let's look at some of these monster classifications. It's like big beak bonks, and its propensity to wildly charge at you maps pretty well to bird wyvern. Right. It's like, okay. So a Chetacabra is an amphibian, right? So already I'm like, this guy looks like a reptile who is a brute. So why isn't this a brute wyvern? And I know there's a reason, but I'm just saying as a new person, right? Okay, the Chemetris is a brute wyvern. Brute wyverns don't get their own gems, they just generate wyvern gems for some reason. Lullabarina is a Temnoceran, that's fine. All the bugs are Temnocerans. Kongala is a fanged beast. All mammals are fanged beasts, that's fine. The Balahar is a Leviathan. I only just showed up. The Balahar is one of the first monsters you fight, and I get that it's rad. That there's a classification called Leviathan, and there's a sand Leviathan, right? That's rad. You don't have to explain that much to me. I get it. I haven't been here very long, but I'm already like, that's rad. Harsh says I can get that confusion. It's so strange to me to have one monster of a given type in the game at launch. Yeah, that is weird. Doshaguma's a fanged beast, obviously. Oduna's a Leviathan. Again, the Leviathan thing is also seems very broad, but okay. Rumpumple is a brood wyvern. I'm getting what brood wyverns are. They're like maybe non-flying or maybe like little flying, but like mostly like beefy theropod things. Flying Radar is a flying wyvern, of course, totally makes sense. Temnoceran for Nerscylla, a Leviathan for Hirabami. Okay, it's like a reptile bug that flies. I think definitely something like Hirabami, I would be willing to bet you that they designed this monster first, and then they were like, where are we gonna put it? And they're like, nah, let's make it a Leviathan. I don't know. I don't know that much about this game, but that's what it seems like to me. Um, a Jerican being a Fang Beast made sense. Newt cephalopods, right? That's fun. All of the um, Guardians being constructs is nice. Like, the Guardian idea is very nice and very smart because you get to use the exact same monsters, but they're slightly different. They play differently, right? That's the important part. And also, they give you different rewards, right? You don't get the same rewards from a Dushaguma than you do from a Guardian Dushaguma, or a Rathalos from a Guardian Rathalos. So there's a reason to specifically go after one or the other and learn the patterns of one or the other, right? Um, it's also interesting because the first two Guardians you encounter are a Guardian Doshaguma, which is earlier in the game, and a Guardian Rathalos, which, if you've only played Wilds like me, that's the first Rathalos you've ever faced if you don't count the Rathalos in Smash, right? So it's interesting because the the Guardian Doshaguma is like a level up on the regular Doshaguma, but the regular Rathalos, when you finally encounter it in the post game, is actually the level up of the Guardian Rathalos. It's actually like stronger. So that's interesting. At least it feels stronger. Um, let's see. Or just says Chotacabra comes from a class that existed before, but it's only rep for Wild so far. Yeah, maybe we'll get some more in future updates. I'm guessing that guy that they've been, like Lagriacus or whatever, that they've been saying is going to be in the next update. That guy looks like it's probably a Leviathan, so that's what I'm going to guess for that one. Harja says, what would you think if I told you there was an amphibian monster that was like a frog shark, which swam through the ice, could turn cold exhaust into ice armor, and could inflate itself up to 5 times its size and roll around as a big balloon guy? That sounds amazing. Actually, I should look that up. What's that guy called? And yes, I would love to see something like that. Yeah. So that new guy who's from a previous thing was from like the expansion where you actually swim. So it'll be interesting if people that played that expansion are like, yes, I like this version of the Lagriacus because even though I can't swim at it, I don't know how popular swimming monsters were, but I know that there was only like 1 or 2 games where you could swim. You can't swim in this one, other than like as a kind of a quick time event. Uh, Zamtrios. Okay, I'll look into it. Yeah, this game is like this franchise. Yeah, this franchise is like busted open for me. I'm like, whoa! It's just like so good. Like everything about it is so good. Um, it feels it feels modern, and it is modern because it's actually not that old of a franchise, right? Compared to like your Mario's and Zeldas and Metroids, and Street Fighters and Mortal Kombat's. Like this is actually a pretty modern franchise, so you can feel some of that modernity, right? Um, it's also, but also, it's a franchise that struggles to shed its like idiosyncrasies, like its like play idiosyncrasies or whatever. I'm sure there's probably some problematic stuff in its past, but here it feels very good. Like I am really enjoying Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm still playing it. I'm still like trying to find a space in the day to play Monster Hunter Wilds, even if it's super late at night and have to use the excuse of a stream, um, and also have to like have to like snuggle up with my dog so he'll let me play. Is like, okay, are you asleep? Can I finally play video games? Okay, because I don't want to be mean to the dog. He's a sweet dog. There's so much about the world building that I feel would really resonate for you and your narrative inclinations. Yeah. What I really need is to, because again, I don't want to go back and play old games. I know that, maybe that's a weird take, especially here on Twitch, and YouTube if you're watching later, where like streamers are like, I played every Monster Hunter game and here's what I think, right? Like that's not me. I'm not playing old games. I am old. I played old games when they were new, and I don't want to do that anymore. They are bad. They're just awkward. Um, I need those quality of life aspects. Let's line up another hunt. No, I don't want to. Do that. I'm trying to get through my investigations because I got it. This is really clogged up. I'll try and get this Guardian Rathalos. I need that Carapace. I'm going to use my lucky voucher. Harvester says, is the going backwards and keenly knowing that you're missing out on that is rough for me. I find if you start with the older things, only improve over time. Yeah. The thing is that I have fully embraced watching other people play games and talk about them. So for example, I do not want to play Alan Wake. Like, reportedly, it's a bad game. It's like awful to actually play. But I was curious about the story of it, and the story of it is cool. It's very weird, but that's why it's cool. It's like this very weird story with a weird mythology and a weird system and a interesting approach to like otherworldly, like elder god type entities, but really doing its own thing. And same thing with Control. I played Control a little bit and I didn't like it. I didn't like playing it. So I was like, okay, YouTube, find me someone that I like, and it took a while to actually find one, because also I'm picky about my lore channels. But yeah, find me someone that I can watch a lore video of that I won't get angry about, and let's learn about Control. And I did, and now I know a lot of the mythology of Control and Alan Wake 2. Oh, look at that. 400 damage. Almost 500 damage on a first swing. That's pretty good. Anyway, yeah. Like, and that kind of all started with Halo. Like, I was like, whoa, Halo has such cool mythology. And then I would get my hands on a controller and be like, buh, I can't play this. And I couldn't. If you think I'm bad at Monster Hunter, as you can see, I am mega awful at first-person shooters. Like, not even joking. So bad. So incredibly bad. Oh, I got the Carapace, I think. Just from that wound. So yeah, I was like, okay, okay, Wikipedia or whatever, fan wiki, what is the story of Halo? And I just read the story of Halo, and I was like, huh, that is rad. And also, here's some things I don't like about it, like any story. And I was like, well, I'm sure it would have been great if I had discovered that through playing the games, but I can't. They're so difficult for me. I just can't play a first-person shooter to save my life. So, I don't. And now, yeah, if it's something like Control, where like, oh, I actually don't want to play this game, I can just watch either or watch like the movie where they like play all the cutscenes, right, on YouTube, or go through a lore channel. And I've actually now done that multiple times, because you know what other game has like an absolute bonkers mythology that I wanted to learn about, but absolutely did not want to play? Death Stranding. Like, good lord. Again, I'm a quality of life boy. Can you imagine me playing Death Stranding? Like, absolutely no way. Um, so I just found a lore channel and learned about Death Stranding, and it is absolutely bonkers. Um, Extremely problematic. Just Kojima is somebody who was like the absolute most edgiest edgelord in the 90s and is still exactly that flavor of 90s edgy, which is now just straight up problematic. But that's fine. Like, you know, you're gonna have, you know, it's like you give something to an author, you're gonna run into stuff like that. That's fine. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying I'm not like, yeah, I wasn't like necessarily expecting anything else. Because, you know, if you know the guy's storytelling is like, yeah, maybe some stuff like that will crop up. To me, it's not a big deal. Um, but it's probably because those specific issues are not a big deal to me. I'm sure for other people it is more problematic. But anyway, it's nice to just be able to experience that story. Even though I am absolute dog poopy at playing that game, right? Whoop. No. Oh no. I don't know how to. No, Harv. Oh, you got banned and I don't know how to unban you. Hang on. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, so I think I had set it up so that that wouldn't happen anymore. I'm sorry I lost all that stuff. Um, I'm gonna see if I can get it back here after this hunt, but yeah, so I have not been on... What the hell is this? Streamlabs. I haven't been on Streamlabs in forever, so basically all the stuff that I had just mauled the crap out of that secret. All the stuff that I had already done for my channel basically got erased, and I think that includes the words that I had allowed. Because I'm pretty sure... I think I actually had, like... The only words that I had banned were, like, slurs. Like, hell and butt and stuff like that were allowed, so... I'm really sorry about that. You know, that's, like... kind of a thing of me being like, well, I don't want to go through the whole process of setting up my channel again. I'm just gonna jump onto the game or whatever. And now it's like, that's caused a problem for, you know, a viewer, which it sucks. Especially since I don't have a problem saying hell, so sorry about that. Yeah, give me a second. Let me see if I can wreck this guy. Here we go. Let's see. Harv says, my cultural osmosis knowledge of Kojima games includes a lot of weird, thirsty themes, yes. And visuals, is that part of Death Stranding? Absolutely. It absolutely is. There's stuff like that. There's like there's a lot of like stuff about women where you're like, just, does this person think of women as like real humans, or are they like cryptids to him, or what? Right? It's like, let's see if I can throw a trap down. Actually, this guy's gonna fly right off the trap, so I'm just gonna let this dinosaur kill it. You and me, dinosaur. Let's team up. No, I hit the dinosaur. Now it's gonna aggro on me. Dinosaur, get out of the way. So yeah, in Death Stranding, all the women are very weird. Like, there's a like, and granted, all the men are really weird, but they're kind of the men are weird in weird ways, but the women are like weird in like lady ways. I think if that makes any sense. Um, there's a lady who I want to say had a twin, and the twin like maybe like died, and now she like communicates with it, or maybe it's like her child. Also, oh, like I think maybe she gives birth to her own twin by the end of it. Yeah, it's like effed up. It's like the main character's mom is like a huge character, and sometimes she appears as like an attractive lady to him. I mean, I don't know if she's attractive to him. She's just like a young, attractive lady sometimes. And it's like, but that's like a different version of her. It's all very complicated, but it's like, yeah, they're weird in lady ways, right? They're not just like weird in weird ways. Like, there's a guy in Death Stranding who like dies every 5 minutes. Like, he's just like working as like, oh, time for me to die for 5 minutes, and then he comes back and is like, that's not weird. Um, but then there is like there's a character called Fragile. Is Fragile from Death Stranding? I'm not thinking of like the girl that breathes through her skin from like Metal Gear. Anyway, lots of stuff going on with that character where I'm like, mm-hmm. Has Kojima ever spoken to a woman? But it's fine. It was very interesting to read because one thing that Kojima does do is just create these bonker mythologies with their own absolutely ridiculous like internal um logic, like internal weird dream logic, and that is cool. I do like that. But yeah, it's weird. Um the H word. Oh, goats and bulls. I don't know what it is. I have heard folks defend that particular lens, saying he uses similar imagery with masculine characters, and I think it doesn't carry the same tone or energy at all. No. No, because it does feel like weirdly horny a lot of the time. And, like if you are someone who knows, right, not feels or believes, but realizes that women are usually cast through a male prism in media, then looking at all that stuff is like really either like feels really juvenile or gross a lot of the time. Harsh says fragile, quiet, quite the women naming conventions. Yeah, especially since there's like one of the dudes is Die Hard Man. But again, just another reason kind of not to play the game, right? I found a lore channel. I spent, I don't know, probably 2.5 hours with them telling me the lore step by step. And I was like, you know what? That was fun. I am never playing this game, not for any philosophical reason, but because being a UPS driver in post apocalyptic America sounds awful. Like, being a UPS driver sounds bad now. Forget post apocalyptic America, right? And I'm like, when you put a lot of time into a game and you end up not liking the themes, it can be a little demoralizing. Since we're talking about all this stuff, played Metaphor Refantasio, and I don't hate it. I don't think it's like necessarily bad. Let me quit out of this because we'll go to just chatting because I think I fixed my just chatting thing. That looks reasonable. Oh, this probably needs to maybe go up a little bit. Maybe this. There we go. I can see your stuff, Harvest Trees. Twitch says that you've been timed out. Um, so I can still read it. I think maybe it's not showing up in the chat, so maybe I just look like I'm talking to myself like a weirdo, but that's just kind of how it goes, I guess. Um, so, yeah, let me see if I can figure this out. Users in chat. Can I like literally don't even know. If somebody out there knows how to like restore somebody's permissions. Oh yeah, there you are. You're we can see you now. Okay. Yeah. Sorry I missed all that stuff you said. Um because yeah, we're having a chat. It's good times. But anyway, I watched Metaphor Refanta or I played through Metaphor Refantasio, and I was a little disappointed. Like it's actually a really great game, right? In a lot of ways, there's these new, just really cool games. I feel like Metaphor and like Monster Hunter Wilds, where they're like they spent a lot of time and care coming up with this world, and sometimes they'll be like, "Hey, hey, 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 look at this. Look at this thing we made. It's rad. Take a freaking moment. Like stop mashing A or B or whatever to get to the next thing and take a moment and look at this, right?" And I was very glad for it. Like Metaphor has all that stuff, and it was a really good experience most of the way. Two things. One thing kind of disappointed me, only kind of because I saw it coming, and then another thing really disappointed me. The thing that kind of disappointed me is that, like most um, games and like most narratives about revolution, it's actually kind of more about the status, like about restoring the status quo. It's like you're doing a revolution against somebody who wrecked the status quo, so you're actually like a counter revolutionary, right? And that's true in most things that talk about being a revolution, right? It's like Harry Potter is not about a revolution, it's about a counter revolution, right? Like the revolutionary is, like, for better or for worse, the revolutionary, the guy that upsets the status quo, is the bad guy. And that's true for like a lot of games that are games and stories that are ostensibly about revolution. So Metaphor starts real hard, just goes real hard at it, and has all of these characters that have like pretty strong and kind of extreme left views, for definitely by today's standards in the U.S., probably in Japan. Like there's an eat the rich character where like her whole thing is like part of the thing is that like suddenly it becomes possible for anybody to become king of the realm, and there's a character who's like, if I become queen of the realm, I'm going to like go on a chopping spree. Like I will kill all of the aristocrats in the kingdom and redistribute their money, right? And I was like, whoa, whoa, cool, hardcore. And I was like, I bet she doesn't stick to it. And sure enough, if you play through the story, she kind of goes through this thing and she's like, I don't think violence is the answer. And it's like, okay, but like, obviously that's like, when you do like the multiple brains where it's like normal brain and then like glowing brain and then galaxy brain, it's like things are fine, then like the rich are bad, then like the next one is like but violence is bad, and then like the galaxy brain one is like the rich enact violence on poor people, just not physically, right? They do it through intermediaries and through other means. So violence against rich people might be ethical depending on the situation. Just if you're watching the CIA, I'm not saying anything. Um, so yeah, character after character that has these like strong views kind of like backtracks them, and of course it's not a terrible spoiler to say in Metaphor Fantasio, like your characters are monarchists. Like the upending to the status quo is that somebody murdered the king and wants to ascend to the throne, even though they're not part of the royal family. And what you're trying to do is reinstate the royal family, right? So it's like already that's kind of terrible. But I was like, okay, game, do your thing. And sure enough, they never really address it. Like, it operates with this idea of like, well, yeah, the royal family, so yeah, so that's like ordained by God, right? Or whatever. So it's like, okay, whatever. This is why I think like so many people were like consistently like astounded by Game of Thrones because George R. R. Martin goes into it saying, "Hey, like none of these things are real, right? Like there's a scene where like Ned Stark is like, aha, I found that Joffrey is not Robert Baratheon's son, and Cersei just like tears it up. And it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we have all the soldiers and the swords and the stab you, right? Like, that's like a royal lineage is not what makes you king. What makes you king is the power to enforce it. So, like, again, people are like, oh my God, I can't believe that this happened. And it's like, well, that's how it normally happens. You know, you just are used to like Disney type narratives where, like, or like, you know, something like The Man in the Iron Mask, where it's treated like being of royal blood is this like actual godly birthright, right? Even though it isn't. Um, yeah, tech stuff happens. I'm sorry. Archer says HP is very like we must stop the magifascists from restoring the old status quo and maintain this one. Don't pay attention to glaring ways we should improve the current state of things. Absolutely. Like, yeah, I don't want to get into Harry Potter, but yeah, Harry Potter is effed up. It's like such a neoliberal fantasy, right? Archer says, but they're people too. It's like, yeah, yeah, but they're not. They depeoplify themselves by, you know, forcing people to work in diamond mines and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, I so the thing that I was that was the thing that I was kind of disappointed because again, it happened with Persona 5, right? If you play all the way through Persona 5, I guess big spoilers for Persona 5, um, you fight like at the end you defeat like the god of like indifference and like fecklessness and like badness, and then it's like, okay, so this isn't the way the you've changed a fundamental aspect of the world and our society. What does that look like? It's like you don't see it. You don't really see anything being different. And it's like, did that change anything? Cuz like if you destroyed this aspect of our current society that was like lying and doing evil things to be self-serving and suddenly everybody became like altruistic, our world would be turned upside down, right? Imagine like just Japan, like, right? It's like Japan is an industrialized nation. Like imagine if you did that, like the second that happened, people would be like, oh my god, we need to like pay restitutions to China and Korea and like the Innu people, right? Like they would just like it would just like immediately be a thing, and the United States everybody would be like, "Oh my God, we need to do reparations right now," right? Stuff like that, and it's like, no, it just looks the same. Like we can't imagine like you can imagine a cool boss fight, but you can't imagine a world that isn't run by like self-centered politicians and oligarchs. Harji says that sounds like a really cool thematic question. Yeah, but it would fundamentally change the world, right? And as you play through the game, you know that because you keep doing that to individual bad people. And you suddenly turn them into good people. And they're like, oh my God, I've had caused such suffering Like I'm such a bad person. I'm turning myself in, or I think at least one of them commits suicide. And it's like, sorry, uh, content warning, suicide. Sorry to just throw that out there. But yeah, so it, yeah, you see it, do it step by step, and then it's like, okay, well, what if we apply this to the entirety of society? It's like, I don't know, because Persona, like Metaphor, and like superhero comics, and like Harry Potter, imagines that the status quo is actually good, right? Like, it says the way that things are now is the normal way for things to be, and it's actually like when bad people get in control that bad things happen. And that's true, but I have bad news. Bad people have always been in control or had some control, and it's actually very difficult to strip the badness out of society, right? It takes decades of fighting and sometimes literal fighting to do that. But again, these games, these stories, imagine that the status quo is actually the best possible world. So, what does a world without badness look like? It looks like the status quo. So, yeah, good philosophy talk. Sorry to just veer into this direction. Um, what time is it? Should probably wrap it up. Um, Thanks for watching. If you watched all the way through this, thanks for lurking. If you were lurking, it's good times. I appreciate also the lurkers. Uh, Feel if you're watching this on YouTube later, give it a like, put in a comment if anything that was said was interesting or whatever. It really helps out my channels. I'm just, somebody who has a couple jobs and is also kind of trying this YouTuber, Twitch streamer thing as yet another side gig, and I get like 14 cents from YouTube and Twitch every couple months. But man, it's something. I really appreciate it. I appreciate anybody who stuck to it this long. And yeah, the special thanks to Harvestry for sticking for the whole thing and talking to me. And again, sorry, I am literally going to close out of this and go revise my permissions because that was really awful and I'm sorry that that happened. Yep, all those messages are still gone. Okay. Um, Harvester says, I'm glad you're putting yourself out there to whatever degree you can. Well, thank you. I'm, just whenever I can. It's good times. You know, I exist through kind of this Major Spoilers connection, and Major Spoilers has fostered a really good audience. So it's usually a pleasure to talk to you guys. Um, yeah, we will wrap it up here and stay tuned for future random super late night, secret late night shows. And I will catch you guys later.